Good day everyone. Chapter 2, Citizenship Training. Introduction. In a primitive society where the primordial principle is might makes right, the rulers acquired and maintained their power through the use of force, intimidation, or threats, which effectively coerce the people to obedience. In such society, political relationship is based on fear rather than consent of the governed. Hence, there is no certainty and stability since political power is determined not by law but by force. A society is said to be civilized, free, and democratic when it's governed by the rule of the law and where the Constitution reigns supreme, respected and implemented by the rulers, and accepted and obeyed by the ruled. In such society, the people and the rulers give up the use of force and adopt reason, morality and consent as the basis of political relationship. It is on this basis that social, economic, and political stability is achieved, maintained, and preserved. Next, we have the learning objectives. After completing this chapter, you should able to explain the purpose of the Filipino people in promulgating their constitution, identify the citizens of the Philippines, enumerate the role of the government and the duties and obligations of the Filipino citizens, enumerate the basic values of the Filipino people embodied in the preamble. The basic values of the Filipinos. The Preamble 1987 Philippine Constitution. Rule of law, truth, justice, freedom, love, equality, peace. Next is the clustered below are the good citizenship values that are reflected in the 1987 Philippine Constitution. The Makajos cluster, faith in the Almighty God, respect for life, order, work, concern for the family and the future generations. The Makatao cluster, love, freedom, peace, truth, justice. The Makabayan cluster, unity, equality, respect for the law and the government, patriotism, promotion of common good. The Makalikasan cluster, concern for the environment. The NSTP as a citizenship training scheme focuses on translating the good citizenship values as they reflected in the preamble of the Philippine Constitution in the concrete action in building a better Philippines. Hence, emphasis is placed on the 16 basic Filipino values based on the 1987 Philippine Constitution. Number one is faith in the Almighty God. Be good, be God-fearing, and live according to His will. This first is the good citizenship. The 1935, 1973, and 1987 constitutions are one in recognizing the existence of an all-powerful supreme being who guides the destinies of nations. Second is the respect for life. Recognize the absolute value of human life and the human dignity of every person. Do not inflict harm on others. This is the preservation of human life is a fundamental value in society, and that respect for life transcends individual, religious, and diverse cultural values. Third is order. Respect the human rights of one another and comply with your duties and responsibilities. Um, God Himself is a God of order, and from practical viewpoint, it makes things simpler and smoother for us and others. Four is the work, be diligent and earn an honest living. Do not engage in crime and corruption. We have a moral obligation to exercise our personal capabilities of mind, muscle, and spirit in a way that will return to the Lord, our families, and our society the fruits of our best efforts. We work to earn a living, it, it is true. But as we toil, let, let us also remember that we are building a life. Our work determines what that life will be. Six is five is a concern for the family and the future generations. Look after the welfare of your family and the future generation. Love. Love, look after the God and welfare of one another. This refers to the concern for the person as a human being created by God. It is necessarily includes respect for his human dignity, which entitles him to recognition of his rights and claims on society to realize his best self. Seven is freedom. Assert your rights to be able to do the right things. This means not only the absence of restraint from state interference, but also opening of opportunities for the individual to realize the perfection of his personality. Eight is peace. Live and work together in harmony. Avoid violence as a way of settling disputes. Peace is a state of order and security in a community because of the rule of law and justice. It is a freedom from harassment and disturbance. Peace is harmony in personal and social relations. Truth. Truth stands up for the truth and avoid intrigue and mudslinging this. This means that the people's expectation that the acts, words, or statements, judgment, or idea of the highest leaders of the country should simply accord with fact, common sense, or reality logically. Next, we have the justice. Justice give everyone their due. Do not oppress or take advantage of anyone. Justice in its social aspect envisages a society without poverty, where the individual enjoys the minimum economic precondition for the enjoyment of human rights. It is the criminal aspect. It means bringing retribution and just punishment to those who violated the civil and political rights guaranteed by the Constitution, those who damage the national economy and explain wealth through graft and corruption, and the use of state power, influence, or connections. Next is unity. Work together and share with one another. Unity is being together or at one with someone or something. It is the opposite of being divided. This is a word for togetherness or oneness. 12 is the equality. Treat one another as brothers and sisters, being children of one God and one nation. This means not only equality before the law of legal equality, but equality of opportunity to seek the perfection of oneself and next is the respect for the law and the government. Obey the laws of the land and support government programs. No society or community is possible without the rule of law. The rule of law is the guarantor and protector of civil and political rights, as well as social, economic, and cultural rights against abuse or misuse of power. Next is the patriotism. Place the good of the country above one's own. Waving the flag is an obvious way, but anything that celebrates your country or makes it stronger is a great display of patriotism. Whenever a country is at war, people are more vocal about their patriotism, playing patriotic songs and making speeches full of national pride. 15 is the promotion of common good. Put the welfare of the greater number of people over one's own. Do not be greedy and selfish. It is imperative that no one indulge in a merely individual's morality. The best way to fulfill one's obligations of justice and love is to contribute to the common good according to one's means and the needs of others, and also to promote and help public and private organizations devoted to bettering the conditions of life. And the last is the concern for the environment. Keep your surroundings clean and conserve our natural resources. As human beings, we have our own wants and needs, as well as our own hopes and dreams for the future. Our wants, needs, and dreams drive our actions and affect the ways in which we treat and interact with the environment around us. Next is the duties and the obligations of the Filipino citizens. We have five duties and obligations. One is to be loyal to the republic. We have to manifest our love and devotion to our country and faith and confidence to our government by respecting our customs, traditions, language, institutions, and to be proud of being a Filipino. Second is to defend the state. Considering the fact that our country is our home and we receive benefits and protection from the state, it is our prime duty and honor to love and defend it at all costs against any threats and peril, whether from within or from without. Third is to contribute the development and welfare of the state. We can contribute to the development and welfare of the state by paying our taxes willingly and promptly, by helping maintain peace and order, by conserving our natural resources, by patronizing local products, and by engaging in productive work. Four is to uphold the Constitution and obey the laws. It is our prime obligation to uphold the Constitution and obey the laws. And the last is to cooperate with duly constituted authorities. Respect of authority is a condition needed to regulate the affairs and relationship of the people in a given society. Next is the nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism and patriotism are often used interchangeable, meaning one for the other. There is, however, a wide distinction between nationalism and patriotism as political concepts. Nationalism etymologically means love, care for, preservation, and patronage of one's native land and everything in it, the country of birth of a national, whether it be Filipino or otherwise. On the other hand, patriotism is taken from the Latin term pater, which literally means father. Patriotism is the willingness and determination to lay down one's life for the fatherland. The, the constant resolve to sacrifice one's life and limb for the preservation of the state. It is the total realization of that love for the country which is nationalism.
So the Philippine flag. So the Philippine
Ah,
flag one
Dali
of the
lang.
national symbols of the country,
Mm.
has a rich story behind it as it stood as witness to the glorious events of Philippine history. So while it symbolizes the nation's ideals, patriotisms, and aspirations, the flag also stands for the freedom that the Filipino Revolution leaders and ancestors had fought and died for. So the earlier design of the current Philippine flag was conceptualized by the late President Emilio Aguinaldo during his exile in the British Hong Kong in 1897. So the first flag was sewn by Marcela Agoncillo with the help of her daughter Lorenza and Delfina Herbosa Natividad, a niece of Dr. Jose Rizal. So today's flag was first displayed during a battle in May 28, 1898, hence the date of Philippine Flag Day. In June 12, 1898, it was unveiled at the Aguinaldo's mansion in Kawit, Cavite in proclamation of the Philippine independence. From 28th of May to 12th of June of each year, the display of the Philippine flag is symbolic of the struggles and sacrifices of Filipino heroes who chose to fight for freedom and independence. So the construction. The flag's length is twice its width, giving it an aspect ratio of 1 is to 2. The length of all sides of the white triangle are equal to the width of the flag. Each star is oriented in such manner that one of its tips points towards the vertex at which it is located. Moreover, the gap angle between two neighbors of 8 ray bundles is as large as an angle of one ray bundle, 22.5 degrees, with, with its major ray having double the thickness of its two minor rays. The golden sun is not exactly in the center of the triangle but shifted slightly to the right. This flag is waved when having ceremonies. So, proper display of the flag. If flown from a flagpole, its blue field on top in time of peace and the red field on top on time of war. So if in hanging position, the blue field shall be to the left, observer's point of view in time of peace, and the red field is to the left, observer's point of view in time of war. If in a hanging position, the blue field shall be to the left of the observer's point of view in time of peace, and in the red field to the left, observer's point of view in the time of war. So, the flag shall be displayed in all public buildings, official residences, public plazas, and institutions of learning every day throughout the year. The period from May 28 to June 12 of each year is declared as Flag Days, during which period all offices, agencies, and instrumentalities of government, business establishments, institutions of learnings, and private homes are enjoined to display the flag. The flag shall be permanently hoisted and be properly illuminated at night throughout the year in front of the following. So the Malacanang Palace, the Congress of the Philippines Building, Supreme Court of the Supreme Court Building, the Rizal Monument in Luneta, Manila, Aguinaldo Shrine in Kawit, Cavite, Baraswain Shrine in Malolos, Bulacan, Tomb of the Unknown Soldier, Libingan ng mga Bayani, Mausoleo de los Veteranos de la Revolucion, all international ports of entry, and all other places may be designated by the National Historical Commission. So when will be the flag being in its half-mast? The flag has been the flag shall be flown at half-mast at a sign of mourning on all the buildings and places where it is displayed, as provided for in this act, on the day of official announcement of the death of any of the following officials: for the president or former president, for 10 days. For the vice president, the chief justice, the president of the Senate, and the speaker of the House of Representatives for 7 days. And for other persons to be determined by the Institute for any period less than 7 days. So the institute to determine is the National Historical Institute. So the flag shall be flown at half mast on all the buildings and places where the decedent was holding office on the day of the death, until the day of the interment of the incumbent member of the Supreme Court, the Cabinet, the Senate, or the House of the Representatives, and such other persons as may be determined by the Institute. The flag, when flown at half mast, shall be first hoisted to the peak for a moment, then lowered to the half mast position. The flag shall again be raised to the peak before it is lowered for the day. So, prohibited acts. It shall be prohibited to mutilate, deface, defile, trample on, or cast contempt, or commit any act or omission casting dishonor or ridicule upon the flag or over its surface. It is also prohibited to give the flag to any person or object by way of compliment or salute. So it is also prohibited to use the flag as a drapery, festoon, tablecloth, as a covering for ceilings, wall, statues, and other objects, as a pennant in the hood, side, back, or top of a motor vehicles, as a staff or whip, or for unveiling monuments or statues, and as trademarks for industrial, commercial, or agricultural labels or designs. It is also prohibited to display the flag under any paintings or picture horizontally face up. It shall be hoisted aloft and be allowed to fall freely and below a platform or in discotheques, cockpits, nights and day clubs, casinos, gambling joints, and places of vices where frivolity prevails. It is also prohibited to wear the flag in whole or in part as a costume or uniform. It is also prohibited to add any word, figure, mark, picture, design, drawings, advertisements, or imprints of any nature of the flag, or to print, paint, or attach representation of the flag on handkerchiefs, napkins, cushions, and other articles of merchandise. It is also prohibited to display in public any foreign flag except in embassies and other diplomatic establishments and in offices of international organizations. It is also prohibited to use, display, or be part of any advertisement or infomercial and to display the flag in front of buildings or offices occupied by aliens. Next is the pledge, the flag. The following shall be the pledge of allegiance to the Philippine flag. Ako ay Pilipino, buong katapatang nanunumpa sa watawat ng Pilipinas at sa bansang kanyang sinasagisag na may dangal, katarungan at kalayaan na pinakikilos ng sambayanang makadiyos, makatao, makakalikasan at makabansa. Such pledge shall be recited while standing with the right hand with palm open raised shoulder high. Individuals whose faith or religious beliefs prohibited them from making such pledge must nonetheless show full respect when the pledge is being rendered by standing at attention. So next topic will be folding the Philippine national flag. So the flag must be handled by two people on opposite ends of the flag. The blue field must be aligned to the left-hand side of the person standing at the head of the flag where the sun is before it is folded over. So flipping it over, the blue field of the flag must look like the photo shown. So another fold must be made quartering the flag lengthwise, completely hiding the red field. On the end of the flag, it must be folded diagonally to form a small triangle, then repeatedly folded the same way, keeping the triangular shape intact. The folded flag must have one of the stars and only a sliver of the blue field visible. Next is the national anthem. The national anthem is entitled Lupang Hinirang. The national anthem shall always be sung in a national language within or without the country. The following shall be the lyrics of the national anthem. So, bayang magiliw, perlas ng silanganan, alab ng puso, sa dibdib mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiting, sa manlulupig di ka pasisiil. Sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bughaw, may dilag ang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning, at ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhatit pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo. So the rendition of the national anthem, whether played or sung, shall be accordance with the musical arrangement and composition of Julian Felipe. By the way, the one who wrote the letters of the national anthem is Jose Palma. So when the national anthem is played at any or at a public gathering, whether by hand, by band, or by singing or both, or reproduced by any means, the attending public shall sing the anthem. The singing must be done with fervor. As a sign of respect, all persons shall stand and attention and face the Philippine flag if there is one displayed, and if there is none, they shall face the band or the conductor. At the first note, all persons shall execute a salute by placing their right palms over their left chests. Those in the military, scouting, citizens military training, and security guard uniform shall give the salute prescribed by the regulations. The salute shall be completed upon the last note of the anthem. The national anthem shall not be played and sung for mere recreation, amusement, or entertainment purposes except on the following occasions: international competitions where the Philippines is the host or has a representative, local competitions, during the signing off and signing on of radio broadcasting and television stations, before the initial and last screening of films, and before the opening of theater performances, and other occasions as may be allowed by the Institute. All officials and employees of the national and local government and any agency or instrumentality thereof, including government owned and controlled corporation, privately owned entities or offices displaying the national flag, and government institutions of learning are hereby directed to comply strictly with the rules prescribed from the rendition of the anthem. Failure to do so or to observe the rules shall be a ground for administrative discipline. So next, we shall proceed to the national motto. The national motto of the Philippines is set in law. It is contained in the flag and the heraldic code of the Philippines or the Republic Act 8491. The national motto shall be makajos, makatao, makakalikasan, at makabansa. The national coat of arms. The national coat of arms shall have paleways of 2 pieces, azure and gules, a chief argent studded with 3 mullets, equidistant from each other, and in point of honor, a ovoid argent over the sun rayonant with 8 minor and lesser rays. Beneath shall be the scroll with the words Republika ng Pilipinas inscribed thereon. The Great Seal. The Great Seal shall be circular in form with the same specification with the national coat of arms, surrounding the arms in a double marginal circle, which the official name of the Philippines in Filipino was inscribed in the color of the arms shall not be deemed essential, but tincture representation must be used. The Great Seal must also bear the national motto of the Philippines. The Great Seal shall be affixed to or placed upon all commissions signed by the President and upon such all other official documents and papers of the Republic of the Philippines as may be provided by law or as may be required by custom and usage. The President shall have the custody of the Great Seal.
Next is we have the leadership and the youth. What is leadership? Every leader has his or own style and strategy. Further, their leadership styles and methods will vary because they are influenced by multiple factors coupled with predicaments specific to the nature, type, and size of their organization. As leadership, expert Warren Bennis once stated, leadership is the capacity to translate vision into reality. Great leaders possess dazzling social intelligence, a zest for change, and above all, a vision that allows them to set their sights on the things that truly merit attention, not a bad skill set for the rest of us either. It is the job of the leaders to develop a vision, establish what matters, and articulate why, set direction, and inspire others. What is leadership? Leadership is the process of influencing individuals or groups in such a manner as to accomplish the organization, missions, goals, and objectives. It is likewise the art of inducing others to cooperate toward achieving a common goal. Leadership involves the personal relationship of one person to another, the ability to directly influence a subordinate to accomplish a given task. We have the functions of leadership. We have three. First is the providing vision. It is expected of every leader to develop a vision achieving goals. To make such vision a reality, it's a very essential for the leader and for the members of the organization to set goals or objectives. It is the task of the leader to see to it that the objectives set are achieved. Quality output can be assured if the members are properly motivated by the leader. The third is the initiating camaraderie and smooth relationships. Because of individual differences, conflicts and disagreements cannot be avoided in every organization. It is the task, therefore, the leader to see to it that the misunderstanding the immediately resolved so that by solving its conflict, harmonious relationship among the members of the organization can be expected and achieved. Next, we have the seven habitants of highly effective people. One is be proactive. Be proactive is about taking responsibility for your life. You cannot keep blaming everything on your parents or grandparents. Proactive people recognize that they are responsible. They don't blame genetic circumstances, conditions, or conditioning for their behavior. They know they choose their behavior. Reactive people, on the other hand, are often affected by their physical environment. They find external sources to blame for their behavior. If the weather is good, they feel good. If it isn't, it affects their attitude and performance and they blame the weather. Second is begin with the end in mind. Sometimes people find themselves achieving victories that are empty, successes that have come at the expense of things that were far more valuable to them. If your ladder is not leaning against the right wall, every step you take gets you the wrong place faster. Third, put first things first. To, to live a more to live a more balanced existence, you have to recognize that not doing everything that comes along is okay. There's no need to overextend yourself. All it takes is realizing that it's all right to say no when necessary and then focus on your highest priorities. Fourth is think win-win. Most of us learn to base our self-worth on comparisons and competition. We think about succeeding in terms of someone else failing. That is, if I win, you lose. Or if you win, I lose. Life becomes a zero-sum game. There's only so much pie to go around, and if you get a being piece, there's a less for me. It's not fair, and I'm going to make sure you don't get any more. We all play the game, but how much fun is it really? Fifth, 6. First to understand, then to be understood. Communication is the most important skill in life. You spend years learning how to read and write and years learning how to speak. But what about listening? What training have you had that enables you to listen so you really deeply understand another human being? Probably none, right? 6 is the synergize. To put it simply, synergy means two heads are better than one. Synergize is the habit of creative cooperation. It is a teamwork, open-mindedness, and the adventure of the finding new solutions to old problems. But it doesn't just happen on its own, it's a process. And through the process, people bring all their personal experience and expertise to the table. Together, they can produce far better results that they could individually. Synergy let us discover jointly things we are much less likely to discover by ourselves. It is the idea that the whole is greater than the sum of the parts. 1 plus 1 equals 3 or 6 or 66, you name it. And the last is the sharpen the saw. Sharpen the saw means preserving and enhancing the greatest asset you have. You. It means having a balanced program for self-renewal in the four areas of your life: physical, social, emotional, mental, and spiritual. Next is the characteristics of principle-centered leaders. The basis for much of Convey's theory on leadership is that ineffective people try to manage their time around priorities, whereas effective people lead their lives and manage their relationships according to the principles, natural laws governing values that are universally valid. First, we have they are continually learning. Principle-centered people are constantly educated by their experiences. They read, they seek training, they take classes, they listen to others, they learn through both their ears and their eyes. They are curious, always asking questions. They continually expand their competence, their ability to do things. They develop new skills and new interests. Second, they are service oriented. Those striving to be principle centered see life as a mission, not as a career. Their nurturing sources have armed and prepared them for service. In effect, every morning they woke up and put on the harness of service, thinking of others. Third, they radiate positive energy. The continences of principle-centered people are cheerful, pleasant, happy. Their attitude is optimistic, positive, upbeat. Their spirit is enthusiastic, hopeful, believing. Fourth is they believe in other people. Principle-centered people believe in the unseen potential of all people. They feel grateful for their blessings and feel naturally to compassionately forgive and forget the offenses of others. They don't carry grudges. They refuse to label other people, to stereotype, categorize, and prejudge. Fifth, they lead balanced lives. They read, watch, observe, and learn. They are active socially, having many friends and a few confidants. They are active intellectually, having many interests within the limits of age and health. They are active physically, they have a lot of fun, they enjoy themselves, their actions and attitudes are proportionate to the situation, balanced, temperate, moderate, and wise. 6. They see life as a venture. Principle centered people save your life because their security comes from within instead of from without. They have no need to categorize and stereotype everything and everybody in life to give them a sense of certainty and predictability. 7 is they are synergistic. Synergy is a state in which the whole is more than the sum of the parts. They are change catalysts. They improve almost in any situation they get into. They are amazingly productive, but in a new creative ways in team endeavors, they build on their strengths and strive to complement their weakness with the strengths of others. And the last is the exercise for self-renewal. Finally, they regularly exercise the four dimensions of the human personality: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. They participate in some kind of balanced, moderate, regular program of aerobic exercise that provides endurance, improving the capacity of our body and brain to use oxygen, along with many other physical and mental benefits. Next is the transformational leadership. According to the idea of transformational leadership, an effective leader is a person who does the following. First, creating an inspiring vision of the future. Once they have developed their visions, leaders must make them compelling and convincing. A compelling vision is one that people can see, feel, understand, and embrace. Effective leaders provide a rich picture of what the future will look like when their visions have been realized. They tell inspiring stories and explain their visions in ways that everyone can relate to. Here, leadership combines the analytical side of vision creation with the passion of shared values, creating something that's really meaningful to the people being led. Second is motivating and inspiring people. Leaders can also motivate and influence people through their natural charisma and appeal and through other sources of power, such as the power to pay bonuses or assign tasks to people. However, good leaders don't rely too much on these types of power to motivate and inspire others. Third is the managing delivery of the vision. This is the area of leadership that relates to management. Leaders must ensure that the work needed to deliver the vision is properly managed, either by themselves or by a dedicated manager or team of managers to whom the leader delegates the responsibility. And they need to ensure that their vision is delivered successfully. Leaders also need to make sure they manage change effectively. This helps to ensure that the changes needed to deliver the vision are implemented smoothly and thoroughly with the support and backing of the people affected. And the last is the coaching and building a team to achieve the vision. Individual and team development are important activities carried out by transformational leaders. To develop a team, leaders must first understand team dynamics. Example, Bruce Tuxman's forming, storming, norming, and performing theory. Leadership also includes looking for leadership potential in others. By developing leadership skills within your team, you create an environment where you can continue success in the long term. And that's the true measure of great leadership. We have the 10 qualities of a good leader. One is appreciative. A wise leader values their team and the person. Success is only achieved with the help of others. What's more, genuine appreciation provides encouragement, develops confidence, and builds on strengths. Second is confident. Trust and confidence in leadership is a reliable indicator of employee satisfaction. Good leaders aren't afraid of being challenged. Their confidence inspires. Third is the compassionate. Compassion is a strength. A good leader uses compassion to perceive the needs of those they lead and to decide a course of of action that is of greatest benefit to the person and the team. Fourth is the courageous. Perhaps I should have put this at the top of my list. A courageous leader is prepared to take risks when no one else will. A courageous leader has faith in other people. A courageous leader raises difficult issues, is ready to give difficult feedback, and shared unpopular opinions. Fifth, it is the diligent. To persevere in conviction, courage, creativity, compassion, and character, we need diligence, good leaders, and work hard. Six, fair. Fairness is what people want. Good leaders don't have favorites in the team. They reward for results, not partiality. They promise fairness. Seven is flexible. The good leader is able to flex. They alter and adapt their style according to the situation, context, and circumstances they experience. They welcome new ideas and change. Eight is honest. Wise leaders are not afraid of communicating the truth to their people. Honesty is about being truthful, having integrity, and building trust. Honesty leads to better, more productive relationship. 9. Impartial good leaders are impartial. They recognize their biases, prejudices, and predispositions. They also recognize biases in others and face them. Responsive. Good leaders are responsive to the needs of those they lead. They adjust their behavior to best match the situation. They listen to their team. They value their they value their team. Thank you and very much. That's all our report about the Chapter 2 Citizenship Training. Thank you.